That hurt like a lot.
Hi, how you doing? Probably wondering, what am I doing here? Why did I bump into my chair? And why are you watching me? Well, three reasons. One, this is for a project. I'm going to be talking about PowerDirector compared to Adobe Premiere. I gotta get it to fit. Pause. Pros and cons of PowerDirector and the pros and cons of Adobe from what I've experienced so far. I definitely have more experience with PowerDirector, but not as much with Adobe, and I probably should have wrote a script. So yeah, when I write my own script, and then I will get right back to you. Alright, I'm back. It's a new day actually. It's the next day, and I actually have the script for what I'm gonna be talking about now. As you can tell, I just showered and stuff, and my eye bags are crazy. Anyways, I'm gonna start. Alright, so I'm gonna be starting with Premiere Pro. So from a professional point, Premiere Pro is actually way better than PowerDirector because it's widely used in like professional films and like, you know, TV production, video production, and like professional video production at the least. And it also has very advanced editing capabilities. It has multi-layer timelines. It has very good keyframing and powerful color grading tools to make it look a little bit nicer. Because like for example, in movies like Back to the Future, you could tell the color looks a little bit better than how it looks in real life because they up the color grading, the scale, stuff like that. And something cool about Adobe is it works with the Adobe ecosystem in a sense. Like that, I know it sounds weird, but hear me out. So the thing about it is that since it is an Adobe app and it's part of the Adobe Creative Cloud, it works with other Adobe things like Premiere can work well with After Effects for text, and it can also work well with Photoshop and Illustrator for thumbnails and keyframes and stuff like that. When it comes to images and imagery, the After Effects is good for like editing things in the background of Premiere itself, and it's also a huge benefit in video editing itself. Now, one thing about the format and the code support of Adobe is that it has a very broad support of different video formats and codes, which is also pretty good for an editing program. Now, when it comes to the precision of Adobe, it offers a lot of control over colors, effects, audio, stuff like that. It's also good for big projects and like kind of like feature films on a professional standpoint and professional level if you're going for that kind of content. When it comes to collaborations, it's very good for professional workflows, and it's also good when including team projects and when they're sharing assets and stuff like that. So let's say you're making a you're making a video for a business, Adobe would be what you'd want to go for when it comes to professionalism. Now those were just the pros of Adobe. Let's start with the cons. First off, the cost of the subscription. Premiere requires a subscription like a lot of other editing softwares, but according to this, PowerDirector's pricing is way lower, and the thing about PowerDirector is that instead of paying monthly, you can also pay for a lifetime. So you could pay 1 year and then the next year, same time, pay the same amount of money. When it comes to Premiere, you're not only paying for Premiere, you're paying for Adobe itself. So you're paying way more just for one program. And for a lot of users, when it comes to the costing, this is a big downside because not everybody has that kind of money to afford, edit an editing software like this. Another downside about Premiere is the learning curve that it has, because of Premiere's power and the about it, because of Premiere's power and the amount of depth that you have to go through to understand it, it's not really beginner friendly. You'd probably have to have some prior editing experience if you want to start with Premiere, and not to mention that a lot of Premiere's actions, like let's say you want to cut a clip in half, you got to really look for the tool, which is the razor tool, to actually find it. However, in PowerDirector Filmora 9, you just press a button and it splices the clip like that. And not to mention that the tools in the interface can be very overwhelming if you're starting with the editing software. I mean, I've edited for years with PowerDirector, and Premiere is still pretty overwhelming for me. Not to mention, for Premiere to run well, you're gonna need like a pretty good computer to run it, because Premiere is very good for is very supportive of more high resolution and complex projects, rather than PowerDirector, where it's good for, you know, lower resolution and not projects that are that big. Now, when it comes to Premiere's exporting and rendering speed, it can be okay, but sometimes it's very slow, and it's been proven that PowerDirector can be way faster at times. And another thing is the less built-in content. And while Premiere was powerful, it doesn't come with as many built-in effects and templates and special effects and text templates and stuff. However, PowerDirector and Filmora 9 do come with it if you have it. Now, Cyberlink PowerDirector. The pros and cons. I'm going to be starting with the pros, obviously. Now, the ease of use. PowerDirector is very beginner friendly. I mean, everything is pretty easy to use and understand, and the interface is very easy. It's not overwhelming, and the tools are very self-explanatory. Like the splice tool splices the clips, the text box tool adds text, and so on and so forth. And for creators who aren't full-time professionals, it could be a very good option rather than Premiere Pro. Many people have said about PowerDirector, quote, simple to start but powerful enough to do advanced edits. Now, like I said earlier, PowerDirector also offers more flexible pricing, such as one-time purchase options, a lifetime license, or cheaper subscriptions compared to Premiere, because Premiere is more professional, so you're going to have to be paying more. However, PowerDirector is less professional, it's more casual, where you pay less. It's like a high-end restaurant and a mid-end restaurant. Like Carrabba's, you're going to be paying pretty good price for a family, but if you go to somewhere like Andiamo or Joe Muir, you're going to be paying a lot more. Now, when it comes to performance and speed, PowerDirector is very good at hardware acceleration, which helps with its rendering and playback, and in some cases, PowerDirector does render faster like Premiere, like I said earlier. And PowerDirector also has a lot more built-in features. It has built-in screen recording, built-in text-to-speech with AI voiceovers. It has a large library of built-in special effects and transitions and templates. And not to mention that it supports multicam and 360 video editing. For example, the 360 video editing can be good if you're trying to make a immersive video for people who want to watch videos in VR. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you want to, go ahead. And another thing is that it has lower system requirements compared to Premiere. Now, like I said, Premiere, you don't need the best computer or a very high-end computer, but it's more recommended if you're going for big-time projects. However, PowerDirector doesn't really require a really beefy computer like that. If you want to make a big project on PowerDirector, you need like at least a low to mid-end computer, and you'll be fine. I mean, me personally, I have a pretty high-end computer, and PowerDirector works perfectly for me. So, now with the cons of PowerDirector. There's a lot of bugs with PowerDirector. Sometimes it will just randomly crash out of no, reasoning or anything. Some people have said, quote, I have been a long-time user, but I can no longer use any version of PowerDirector without it crashing, end quote. And me, as a user of PowerDirector for years, I can vouch for this, but the best thing you can do is save your work every time you do something. If you don't save it, it's on you. Other users have mentioned audio bugs after updates, saying, quote, sound dropping out between clips, last update makes it near impossible to watch the preview without it stuttering, end quote. Now, I haven't experienced this since 2020, so maybe these people just have a older version of PowerDirector. I have the latest version. Now, me personally, I have experienced this one time, but it was just because of the way that I edited the audio itself. So, this is one of the less common issues as compared to the crashing issue, but overall, those are just like the only bugs that are really on the surface. All the other bugs are very underground. Now, PowerDirector also does have less pro-grade customization. While PowerDirector is powerful, it may not offer the same level of fine control as Premiere, especially for very high-end cinematic work. I would rather choose Premiere if I'm going for a movie or like a short film rather than PowerDirector when it comes to professionalism and like pro-grade editing. But you can still use PowerDirector, but if you're going for more professionalism, then I guess Premiere would be the better choice. And not to mention that PowerDirector's effects and animations are more off presets than highly customizable ones like Premiere. And Premiere is more you have to do it yourself rather than PowerDirector have it do it for you for the most part. And some users have also mentioned that in updates they have changed a lot of things in the interface, which can be frustrating, where you can't find certain things because they aren't where they were before, but they're still there. You just gotta kind of look for it. And when it comes to support and community, PowerDirector users complain about the weak customer support with Cyberlink PowerDirector, saying, quote, "The customer support is an absolute joke, no help whatsoever." Me personally, I've never had to contact the customer support, but weak customer support isn't really good if you want people to buy your product, let alone software itself. And if you have weak customer support with your software, then people are going to start migrating to other softwares, if you get what I mean. And PowerDirector is less widely used in professional studios. While it is capable of industry standard and professionalism, it's just not used as much as Adobe Premiere because one, Premiere has a better record, and two, it's meant for professional videos. Literally, PowerDirector is meant for more casual videos like YouTube and stuff like that. So which one should you choose? If you're doing professional level editing such as films, commercials, videos, and advanced YouTube content, and you already use other Adobe Creative Cloud tools, and you need very fine control over your video, effects, audio, and you don't mind paying a lot of money, then go with Adobe Premiere. Then go with Premiere Pro. But if you're more of a content creator, YouTuber, hobbyist, and want a solid editor without a super steep learning curve, and you prefer to pay less or just pay for a one-time license, and you care about rendering speed and performance on a mid-range PC, and you want built-in effects such as simple screen recording and tools like AI voiceover, like me, then choose PowerDirector. Me personally, I prefer PowerDirector way more than Adobe, but it really is whatever you choose, whatever really calls to you more. But yeah, that was my take on Adobe versus Premiere Pro. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah. Hashtag ad.